All right, we're back with the 72 Cheyenne. It's time to get back under this cowl vent and figure out what's broke and get it fixed. Y'all come along. All right, last time we were under this cowl vent, we found that this flap, which controls the fresh air coming in, was broken. So we ordered a new one. This time we ordered from LMC Trucks. Part looks essentially the same, with the exception of it ain't broke. It was actually about $10 cheaper than going through Brothers Truck, so that's why we opted to go this way. And also, while I was on the website and was shopping, I found these. These are cowl vent grill screens that should help prevent this from happening again, because what broke this was the cowl vent had packed in with leaves, and at some point this flapper got forced and it broke the pivot pin off of it. So we're going to get into installing this stuff. What is this garbage? Hang on, something ain't right here. All right, after about an hour of off-screen fiddling, what we determined is this piece that they sent us is made wrong. The pin will not insert into the firewall bushing far enough. So I had to modify this piece so that it would go further into the firewall, and I used the original piece of the original spring. I had to shorten the spring to be able to put it back together. And when I put it back together, then the pivot didn't want to operate correctly, so I had to figure out that I needed to shim the main stem that goes through with the pod hooks on and shim it out even further. So this is what we live with reproduction parts. So that's what I say all the time. In a lot of cases, you're better off with the original stuff if you can clean it up and reuse it. Sometimes these repop parts aren't so great. So anyway, let's actually install it. It took me a minute to figure that out too. It's kind of because it was broken and laying down in there, but you actually go in kind of on top of the divider that's inside here, and you can swing it over and line up the hole, swing it around, and you have that spring-loaded pin, and you can look down into the hole and line it up and release your pin. And then your flapper will work. Now, you've got this bracket right here that somebody had bent pretty hard. So you want to make sure that it makes a nice 90-degree turn and is flat. This piece here slides over the shaft of the flap that comes through the wall. I have a cotter pin through it so that it'll make it work. And you can take and loosen these nuts right here to slide this back and forth to make the alignment and the adjustment. Once you get it where it needs to be, just tighten them down, and it's pretty simple. So we're going to actuate it, because you want to make sure that you actuate and make sure that this thing is working properly before you put this cowl vent back together, because once the cowl vent is on and it doesn't work, then you've got to take it all back apart. All right, now that we have ensured that the flap does work correctly with the pod and it's all doing what it's supposed to do, we're going to bring the screens in here and go ahead and see what we have to do to fit the screens so that we can get this cowl panel put back on. So let's get it set up.
As it sometimes happened, we lost the footage where we discussed these grill screens, and a couple of things I wanted to talk about with them. Main thing is they come pre-drilled. The little tabs and all line up perfectly with the factory holes on the truck. You simply remove that cowl vent cover, lay the screens in place, line up the holes, and then take your cowl vent cover and put back on top. Everything lined up. There was no real problem with these, and they seem to seal really well. So as you can see, the part number is on the screen. These particular ones were ordered from LMC Truck. So there you go.
All right, let's grab this cowl panel and we'll get it put back in place. All right, Brother Ben, just get you to hold that for me while I get this antenna lined up. Get it drop down. This is a trial fit because we want to check these screens. I forgot that we've got a couple of bolts in place that probably need to remove. But that kind of gives me an idea of what the screen's going to look like and how it's going to fit. I think that's going to work out pretty good. And let's slide it back off and get these bolts out of here. And take it to your side. Perfect. Open that door, and it's the top bolt for the cowl. All right, don't lose this shim. All right, here comes the cowl panel back over. Let's see if we can get it to trial fit a little better than that last time, now that we got everything like it's supposed to be. The antenna stuck through. You may have to kind of pull it towards you a little bit. And
Got a Phillips head or a Smith screwdriver I can use to pull the shim back in place?
yeah, we'll worry about that in a few minutes. I'm just trying to trial fit, see how it looks with that grill in there.
I'm in.
That looks really good. Nice and sealed off. All right, you got you a screwdriver or something to pull the shim back?
Yep.
Okay.
In.
Well, we need to hold up on that. Don't start a bolt yet.
Why, you not fitting?
Oh, I will in a minute, but this rubber strip, remember we're going to put the rubber strip under there. Yeah. Get your rubber strip. Have to lift up on the go your way. Yep. Whoa, whoa. Let's start it from over here. Let me have
Something in.
Okay, that one's lined up. Rubber don't want to go in.
I'm in a hole.
What is it not going in? There it went. There it is. A lot of different stuff you have to line up. All right, well, we got the rubber piece lined back up. We got the grill in place. Seeing all my holes are still lined up. This is going swimmingly. It's actually going a little better than I expected. So we're going to go ahead and start our 4 bolts. Get them a couple threads by hand. Doesn't have to be all the way in. Just get them started. All right, now I'm going to go grab my screws. And when they built these trucks, if you'll notice, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if you'll notice, there's only 4 stainless screws, and the rest were regular screws that were out of the line of sight. So, the 4 stainless pretty screws need to go up top, because they won't rust. And of course, like I said before, you don't tighten everything down. Go and just get it started. Do-do-do. It needs to go back this way. There we go. Once we took the rubber off, it kind of shrunk a little bit. Alright, I'm coming around to that side. Alright, we're going to continue on this side. And this panel seems like it's not quite in place. Not sure what's going on here. There we go. Just needed to be slid a little bit. Fiddle around there and find the hole. Last one, and we can go back through and tighten everything up. You don't want to over tighten them and warp your metal here. Now we can tighten up our big bolts. Alright, now it's time to put this antenna back on. You can see you have a little mounting base, has a little notch in it. And there's a notch right there. And these just slide down to help center the hole. Drop your piece back down on there. Draw the antenna up through it. Drop your little decorative nut back on there. And carefully, because you don't want to mar it all up. And this is pot metal, so you don't want to get carried away tightening it up either. Just snug it back down. And wiggle it. See how it got loose again? Wiggle it. Wiggle it. And there you go. Antenna's back in place. Alright, well, it's time to put the windshield wipers back on. And I didn't show you when we did the time lapse on how we get these off. So, Mr. Cameraman, if you would, get in here close. You have a little tab right here, a little stainless steel tab. And I use a plastic prying tool. You can get these at Harbor Freight, like 10 bucks for a set of 4. But you want to get something in there that's not going to scratch and mar, but you have to kind of trip that little plastic piece while it's locked onto the vehicle. When it's locked onto the vehicle, you can't see a whole lot, but you can get down in there and pry with this plastic tool. And a lot of times what I do is I can take something like this L shape and I can pry with it and it'll actually start pushing it off. Once you get this initially starting to move, it'll slide right off, if they're not corroded. All right, and you go to put them back on. If you don't know the exact angle, which I do this one because there's a witness mark where it was sitting on the glass when I took it off, but all you have to do is push it and make sure it's locked on all the way down. All right, when you put the next one on, kind of the key thing here is you want them level. I may have gotten that one just a tinch below, but I think they're going to be good. And of course we will, when we get the truck back up and running, we're going to test them to make sure that they don't over or under sweep. So there you go. Got the cowl panel back on, that flap's going to work. We got this leaf grill in there, so we won't ever have to worry about it filling up with leaves and breaking that flap ever again. If you hadn't already done so, go down there and hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. If you'd like to know more what goes on in the Real World Garage, click on a video coming on the screen right now.